What's in a name? So this is inspired by a post which was a response to a post done by NickasArbata, and it's pretty much about names. I myself was born into a rather unusual name. My parents don't know what it means, but I've come to discover through my own research that it means the following: the believer in God who was thrown from heaven for knowing and or learning too much. Which kind of fits because I'm a person that likes to learn about all sorts of things. I read just about everything I get. I'm a magazine whore, book whore, internet whore. So yeah, I pretty much gain all the information I can. So if God wants to throw me out, I guess that's why. Let me get into my phone here because I took some notes, but yeah, I've also encountered some unusual names in my life's existence so far. I had a classmate whose name was Jeanette, and while that's not very unusual, Nikas brought up the unusual characteristics of some Cubans and their names. She got named Jeanette, but it's spelled L-L-A-N-E-T. I've also seen an iteration of Jeanette as L-L-A-N-E-T-H, and they're both Cuban. Jeanette without the H happens to be Cuban Chinese, and that's interesting. But yeah, I've also seen a Josie in my school who was spelled Y-O-C-Y. So Cubans can have some pretty interesting spellings of names, as Nikas had evidenced. I had never heard of Iloveni, by the way, but I don't doubt its existence. I have a friend whose name is Mariatne, and her name came because her parents wanted to name her Mariane, but when it came time for the nurse, she was born in Cuba, when it came for time for the nurse to write down her name on the birth certificate, she wrote it with a T, so from then on, her name has been Mariatne. I have known of only one other Mariatne, and she is from Belgium, so that's interesting. I had a friend a long time ago. He was a guidance counselor in my school, and he's Mexican, but his parents are from Chile, and he eventually moved to Chile. And his name happens to be Jamás. For those of you that don't know Spanish, it means pretty much never, never ever. And to add to that, he's a twin, and so his parents, who named him Jamás, decided his name is twin Nunca, which means never as well. So Jamás grows up now, and he meets his wife, who has a pretty not so unusual name, Maribel. They get married, and they decide, oh, let's name our children unusual names, I guess. I guess that's what they did. So they had twin boys first, and they named the boys Ni Siquiera and No Más. And when Jamás was telling me about this, it was I'm sorry, I was pretty I was having a fit of giggles, to tell you the truth. And I guess I don't know, I guess he thought that it wasn't enough that he was named something unusual. He had to name his kids ni siquiera and no más. And so then a year later, they had a girl. They named her Nadie. Nadie means no one. And yeah. So so they have ni siquiera, no más, and nadie. And yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Japanese isn't really so rife with unusual names, but a few come to mind. I had an acquaintance who had a friend whose name was Kusazawa. Kusazawa means stinky swamp. So yeah. Then there's a common Japanese name, or fairly common Japanese name, Kaoru. Kaoru means, well, can mean he or she smells good. So you have a lot of good smelling kids walking around. Yeah, there's I had a friend whose name was Yutsu. Yutsu means depression, like down deep, dark in the pits, depression. Yutsu. And so that's my post about that. So you can see the world is very interesting when it comes to names. So bye from he who was thrown from heaven for knowing too much.
And now it's time for Everybody Loves Hypnotoad.
The following are things people can't believe about me. I'm gay, yet I don't like anal sex all that much. I live in America, yet I drink more tea than I do coffee. That I was born in Jamaica, yet I have very little accent. I'm almost 27 years old.